This villain started out as Anakin Skywalker, a young slave on Tatooine. Leapin' Lizards. This Tennessee Williams play takes place at the Costa Verde Resort in Mexico. It's the city where Charlemagne spent Christmas Day, 800. Wilson Pickett's top 40 hits include I'm a Midnight Mover and this one. The younger brother of novelist Heinrich Mann, he wrote Joseph and His Brothers. Bergman's Sommernattens Leende. Instead of curing cancer, a virus has been created, leaving Will Smith to fend for himself in NYC. This son gave his name to a kingdom in southern Palestine and to a religion. Voiced by Harry Shearer, President Schwarzenegger says, "I was elected to lead, not to read in this animated film." In 1934, Gerald Ford was voted MVP of this school's football team. This disease of the peripheral nerves is caused by a deficiency of vitamin B1. This Jurassic Park author once taught anthropology at Cambridge University. Ancient astronomers figured the Earth was 3 times larger than the Moon by timing one of these. In a popular children's song, it's followed by, "Little star, how I wonder what you are." An escutcheon is a shield bearing a coat of arms, or a decorative plate often found around this opening in a door. Neil Simon's brother Danny roomed with a friend after a divorce, inspiring a Broadway hit and this sitcom. It was a tavern or a clump of ivy hung on a pub. Today it's a small shrub or an ex-president. The Megabyte, which set a world record in 1997 for the largest one of these flown, was 210 feet long, including the tails. Born in Budapest, he's best known for his 1940 novel Darkness at Noon. The tapetai, or Brazilian this, is a nocturnal member of the genus Silvalagus, or cottontail. Richard Riordan. Weather forecasting in Seattle is easy. Either this mountain is out and it's clear, or it isn't. Social or cultural surroundings. You can see Rembrandt's Adoration of the Shepherds at the National Gallery on this British square. July 3, 1971, in a bathtub in Paris. It might be cruel to tell you that the Bayeux Tapestry is an example of this kind of needlework. The equation for its speed is velocity equals frequency times length. We Got the Meat is an all-male tribute band to this girl group. To ward off, like a champion boxer does to his title. Arthur became a Sir in 1902 when he was knighted during the reign of this British ruler. His father Laius was killed by this man. The Quaker State. In 1932, the city of Nizhny Novgorod was renamed this after a famous writer. This Australian gum tree produces a resin, Botany Bay Kino, that protects wood against shipworms and other borers. Any very large person like pitcher Ed Halicki. The name of this Saudi Arabian city has come to mean any place to which people of a common interest are drawn. In the Bible, Saul's son Jonathan becomes great friends with this future king after battling the Philistines. The Rolling Stones were inducted into it in 1989. Meanwhile, the Coma Teens remain unjustly excluded. You know about Argentinian wines, but try the rose from this country, Argentina's littlest neighbor. This 2009 film is the all-time top-grossing movie in the US and the world. Of 75, 90, or 105, the closest to the number of elements that occur naturally on Earth. Death defeated him March 16, 1971, 23 years after Truman did. In 1984, Mark Thatcher designed this brand of sports sandals for river rafting. Check out all the jazz going on in Orem, Ogden, and Ophir in this state. It's the often facetious ability to determine the nature of an event after it has occurred. Flower for an American marsupial. Closed basket temperature selector agitator. U.S. Army bases in this country include Camp Victory, Al Nasser, and Camp Taji. Middle name of appeasing British PM Arthur Chamberlain. Sealskin is a slang term for a very thick or heavy one of these that you'd wear surfing. From the Latin for hunger, it's a period when food is extremely scarce. Gwyneth Paltrow was this poet struggling with depression, and hubby Ted Hughes. A major change was the designation, so Britain accepted her 90 resignation. A steam shovel and a crane were the first metal trucks the Mound Metalcraft Company sold under this brand name. The Hubble Space Telescope was deployed by this space shuttle. 3 years later, the Endeavour fixed its mirror. Maneuvers used in this sport include shussing, traversing, and the snowplow. This never comes, as it's always a day away. The name of this city's soldier field, opened in 1924, is in memory of those who fought in WWI. October 4th, 1970, at the Landmark Hotel in Hollywood. Gary Cole eased into Robert Reed's polyester wardrobe, taking over this role. This 1970 Irwin Shaw book became a TV miniseries in 1976. Richard Carmona rose from Bronx Community College to med school to this job atop the U.S. Public Health Service. The Grande Galerie is the main picture gallery of this museum, which is housed as one of the world's largest palaces. A silly story or superstitious belief is popularly referred to as this type of tale. The diary that she received for her 13th birthday in 1942 became one of the most famous books of the 20th century. This mapping project, begun in 1990, is less than 50% done, though a private firm, Solera, claims to have 90% finished. Henry Louis. In 1996, the Stanford golfer won the NCAA title. The following year, he won the Masters. Johnny was considered the man with this valuable type of appendage, like Frank Sinatra in a 1955 movie. Mamma Mia takes place on one of this country's islands. The plot concerns a big fat wedding. This action flick starring Roy Scheider in a high-tech police helicopter was also briefly a TV series. Judy Nye, Janie Shirley Smith, Jane Fonda. Some scholars believe this punctuation mark comes from the Latin word io, a shout of joy. His first screen test brought the verdict, "Can't act, slightly bald, can dance a little." Shades of this color include Azzurro and Celeste. Oprah gives the clue from a chair. When I got up to 800 pages in this author's The Pillars of the Earth. This Quaker's treaty with the Indians was the subject of a famous painting by Benjamin West. Sweet Georgia Brown is this team's theme song. This Mayflower of the Buttercup family has a C version too. The sinus iridum is the bay of these, so start searching for those pots of gold. In this title song from Elvis's first movie, the king declares, "You have made my life complete and I love you so." Of that famous incident in 1955, she said, "All I was doing was trying to get home from work." Britain issues this dark postage, the world's first stamp. Pablo Picasso created pictures of minotaurs, and this woman, his daughter, made a minotaur scent for men. This NHL team whose logo is seen here calls East Rutherford home. Trumpet-playing Baker seen here. The one seen here holds water, but one may also hold information as well. William Anders later served as the first chairman of this government body, the NRC. Soft, wet, miry land like Vietnam, or a predicament like Vietnam in the 70s. Tempelhof Airport, opened in 1923, was made famous by this 1948-49 event. Of all Shakespeare's plays, this one has the most fairies. In 1975, the New York Times ran an obituary stating that this famed Belgian detective was dead. Good in jam, and pulled out of pies with a thumb. Japanese, these are native to China, but were first cultivated in Japan. Title occultation of Figaro in a Rossini opera. This Dallas-based maker of semiconductors got its start in the 1930s as an oil exploration company. Let the river run. Montreal's mayor said this 1976 event can no more have a deficit than a man can have a baby. Birth weight was over $1 billion. This city that's home to the Naval Academy was capital of the U.S. in 1783 and 1784. The Communist Party booting me in 27 wasn't so bad. I intend to live in Mexico, which has no axe to grind with me. From 1854 to 1900, these two cities served as co-capitals of Rhode Island. David Herbert. This team owner bought his team in 1973 for a mere $10 million, and it's won 7 World Series since. Anthropologists pose as missionaries in By the Light of My Father's Smile by this author of The Color Purple. Oops, I fall down, go this. His 1947 doctrine offered aid to Greece, which was threatened by a communist insurrection. Known as the Great Chief Justice, he had served under Washington at Valley Forge. Better known name of billiards master Rudolph Wanderone. It's a synonym for speed. It's the creature on the reverse of the quarter in use since 1932. It's been described as an unsweetened donut with rigor mortis. Oi! At over 80%, Hutu, one of two countries. Number in the name of a Florida auto race first run on February 22, 1959. I am America, and so can you. This Nobel Prize winner and world leader was imprisoned from 1962 to 1990. Brat Pack detention in a 1985 film leads to a meal with 3 slices of toast, turkey, bacon, and mayo. The playwright Aeschylus fought in this battle, about 25 miles from Athens. To convert gallons to these units, multiply by 3.785. Teddy called the White House a bully one of these. Of the 12 tribes, the number that inhabited the kingdom of Judah, they didn't get lost. The book of Job says this large animal's bones are like bars of iron. The Homestake Mine, the largest gold mine in the U.S., is in these South Dakota hills. The first Asian American U.S. Senator was Hiram Fong, who began representing this state in 1959. A lingering feeling of remorse or regret for a misdeed. It's from the Latin for stinging. In 1986, its Desk Pro used the new 80386 Intel chip. Highest alpine peak and the Robert Mondavi white wine you might drink there. In making pencils, the ferrule is the metal ring into which this is inserted. Disney retold the story of Rapunzel in this 2010 animated film. Of the family Lamnidae, it's been described on film as a perfect engine, an eating machine. The uncanny March 15th return of 75-plus turkey vultures, aka these, to Hinckley Ridge in Ohio led to an annual fest. Hey, don't cry for me. I won't get the lead in this musical, but I'll be great as Juan Perón. An auger is the device used to cut holes for this kind of fishing. Santos Ortega and Sidney Greenstreet both played this stout detective. Humans belong to the class Mammalia, to the order primates, and to this genus and species. Forward, midfielder, defender, and this are the 4 basic positions in soccer. The name of this dessert is from the French for to blow or to puff. The hot air trapped inside is what makes it rise. George Bush served as director of this spy organization in 1976 and 1977. The U.S. Navy officially began construction of its base at this Oahu locale on Nov 11, 1909. If this Polanski thriller had been set in Manila, we'd have heard, "Forget it, Jake, it's Binondo." Last president born in the 19th century. Ich liebe dich. If one of your nonet gets bumped off, you're left with a group called this. Ian Wright is a presenter on this travel show.